I thought we were live the entire time.
Every song is a fucking journey.
This is the worst tour I've ever done.
Anthony Crawford says Gene Simmons is crazy.
Black Album was one of the greatest fucking records of all time.
Dude, that dude is crazy. Rock and roll ain't dead.
Metal was banned.
What was the reason why it was banned?
Politics and religion.
Next record's 3-chord rock. Yeah, we're gonna do an AC/DC record.
When we do the next record take, we need to interview the producer and just make sure that they're not gonna invade the Capitol.
I'm gonna keep my opinions to myself. Thank you so much! This is why I get banned from tours.
Nobody does anything to get anyone in trouble. Like, no alcohol is consumed on the bus.
Just yoga and prayers.
Oh my God, we have Mr. Matt Barlow here.
Yeah, man. What a great intro, man. That was fascinating.
Dude.
Love that. I love that. Yeah, Freddie and I did this a while back. We did a little, little blog thing, and it, it wasn't anywhere as cool as that, man. That's a lot of information all at once.
Dude, our existence is too much information all at once.
It's too much information all at once.
The yoga. Do you guys do that like on the bus or,
If we're not sharing with another band, more space.
Yeah.
Kind of hard in the European ones, they're a little smaller.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
can't do the standing stuff. So
no, that's
Matt. Just want to say thanks for coming on to our ridiculous podcast, and
it's my pleasure. I thrive in ridiculousness. It's where I go, man. It's where I live.
You're in the right place, man. Yeah, man, congrats on the new record coming out. July 18th, right?
Yep, the 18th. Yep.
Nice. When did you guys start working on that?
Oh my gosh, man. It's actually been in the can for a year. So, but because we merged with so Rock of Angels merged with Rising Phoenix, and which is a Greek label merging with a German label, and then we became a part of a much larger pond of fish, right? So, we've got oh my gosh, who do we have? We got like Kerry King's band on there. I think Primal Fear. We basically have a bunch of different label mates now than we had before, which is great. Right at the end of the day, that's awesome. We got a lot of really good bands, Gravedigger, just a whole bunch of bands. But as with all things, with the merger, and they had to have everything signed, sealed, and all that other good stuff, and we kind of got our record done like right at that changeover, I guess. So it just sort of slowed things down, and so we had to kind of get in line, essentially, kind of get in with all these other bands, and then releases as they come. So it is what it is, man, especially with vinyl. And we noticed this before with the last couple records. With vinyl, like, it slows everything down, because vinyl production is just, there's only so many companies that press it, so it takes time. So you have to factor that in. You have to factor in at least an extra 4 months or whatever. And it is what it is, man. It sucks, like, having a record done and having to sit on it and go like, man, I can't wait for people to hear this, but they can't, and I can't share it so much, just, people that I know, hey man, check out this tune or whatever. But outside of that, just having everything done and everything complete, and we had it, pretty much had it locked down. So, yeah, it's just kind of, it is what it is. It just another kind of delay. We've been pretty steady. So we've had, and some intentional waiting, but then some we've tried to get them done and all that. But over the last 12 years, we've had 4 records. So this is the 4th. So it's every 3 years we have a record out. Mm-hmm. So, which isn't horrible, right? But especially when we're not touring or anything like that. So it's it's good that we're able to do these records still. I mean, Freddie and I are very, very grateful for everything that the label does for us. But and knowing that we're not going to tour as much, we're not going to tour like extensively as like you guys might, we can't, because I can't drop everything. You know, everything a tour for me has to be kind of based around my work schedule and what I can do. And of course, Freddie has a full-time job as well. You know, he's a civil engineer, and so he's got a lot of responsibility as well. So for us, we have to really schedule it way down the line, and it's just like it's hard for us because we can't, like, even if we were offered an opening gig or something like that, we couldn't just drop everything and go. You know, so it's kind of rough, man. I mean, it is what it is, but we get it. It's just the label has been awesome and has really understood where we are. They get it, especially, you know, our old label boss, Aki, who owns Rock of Angels. You know, he totally got it. He's a full-time lawyer, you know, and on top of being a label boss and all this other stuff. So he understands, you know, that duality and things like that, and having to weigh things out and to trade off. But you know, it is what it is, man. I'm certainly not, like I said, it sucks sitting on it for a year, but at the same time, I totally get it, and it you know, I'm just grateful. I'm very happy with the label and what they do for us, and setting up, you know, promotion and all that other good stuff. And you know, I'm hoping at the end of the day they're getting paid, and you know, we're making them some money, because you know, I understand that, you know, they shell out the cash for us to be able to do the record, and you know, we're just totally grateful for that. Our budget is not huge at all, you know, by any stretch, but we make it work. Freddie and I do a ton of work at our home studios, and just try to knock out as much there as we possibly can, and then save most of the money for like the mix down and mastering and stuff like that. So that's where most of our stuff goes. Or, you know, occasional, you know, if we have guest musicians or something like that, we try to, you know, make sure that they get paid for their time and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, been out a year, but it's coming out now. We're happy for that. Pretty excited about it.
When you guys, how do you guys collaborate with that? Like, do you guys meet up at each other's spots, or do you just kind of send stuff? You know,
no.
on. You know?
We have to send stuff, man. I think the only time that Freddie and I ever really got together and started working on a song was like the very first record. From there on, we've just been sharing files back and forth. We have like upgraded, like whenever one gets a new recording rig, and we've only had 2 different recording rigs, but like we get the identical rig. So we have the same recording rig, so that everything's the same, Pro Tools and all that. And so that we don't have problems too often as far as, you know, like he can send me entire sessions or send me tracks, and I can dump it down into my own session or whatever, but it's pretty much all the same. And, you know, we're not engineers by any stretch of the, well, actually Freddie isn't, but just a different kind of engineer. But we're not sound engineers by any stretch of the imagination, but we know how to at least record stuff. I know how to record my vocals. He knows how to record his guitars in MIDI and all that good stuff, so that, you know, he can then take those and go and reamp them in the studio. That is another thing that he does in the studio, because the reamping stuff is really important. Obviously, it's, you know, unless you live in a guitar studio or have your own box set up or something at home, it's really hard to get those guitar tones by yourself in your home. So, you know, if he does all the recording, if he can do all the recording outside in MIDI, and then take it in to the studio and reamp it and run it through, you know, properly, and he can, you know, he and Byron can get a good sound. That's kind of what they do. So that's part of those costs kicking in. But yeah, we just share files back and forth. If we have any questions or anything like that, we do like a lot of texting, a lot of emails, just call on the phone if it's more specific, like, hey, can you do this thing? And if I can't describe it, you know, in writing, then I'll do that. And, you know, we have a really good working relationship. I mean, we don't really quibble over stuff. If it's something that we feel isn't working, one of us feels isn't working, then we'll say I'm not feeling it, and we'll go, okay, let's move on then. Or if it's something that we feel very strongly about, like a particular part in the song or whatever. There's like, just for instance, there's this one part that I was messing around and I was doing like a little vocal thing over top of this bass line that he was going, and he goes, man, I really need that bass line to really kind of pop out. And it's really important for me to hear that. And I'm like, okay, cool. No worries. You know, I'll move on. You know, I get a little frisky in the studio. I start doing stuff, you know, just like different melodies and harmonies and all these other crazy things. Probably a little too much alone time, I think, in the studio for me. But yeah, we have a good relationship, man, and we, you know, we work on things differently. Like there's no set pattern. I mean, I'm sure you guys are the same way. There's no set pattern as far as how you write a song or how you come up with something. Like, you know, I'm sure that, you know, if you got a guitar part and you're doing your thing and you're like, hey, I've got all these guitar parts kind of wired together and it's sort of a song, but I don't know if it's exactly a song. And then, it's handed off to you and you're doing your vocal parts or whatever, or you maybe have lyrics or something. I mean, I think that, I don't know of anybody that has an exact pattern on how they create a song. I mean, but we certainly don't. I mean, unless you're writing the song from beginning to end, and even then, I would think it would be a little different. Like you might start off with a basic lyric and a melody, and then, you know, just build on top of that. You know, that's typically like whenever my contributions are typically that. Like I'll have a melody in my head and some lyrics or a theme or concept or whatever, and I'll just hum it out, or I'll sit on the guitar, you know, as, you know, Neanderthal of a guitar player as I am, I'll sit there and, you know, bang something out and just give Freddie an idea, and then I'll put the vocal melody over top of it, and then say, hey, this is kind of where I'm going with it. Can you do something else with it, or can we go from here? And he does, man. He picks up, you know, what I'm laying down most of the time, and like understands where I'm going with it. So that's another aspect. You know, I give him great kudos for that, because he can get inside my head sometimes and actually make something that I'm hearing in my head. So yeah.
Jake and I tend to sit down together like the old Lennon-McCartney thing.
No, that's cool.
And because I mean, I play multiple instruments, and like we kind of like to like have that real-time feedback. So like if he has a guitar riff, or if I have a progression or something,
yeah, like
we get that like instant, like you could tell the other person has it like right away, like, okay, that's going to be good. Like, yeah. And that's 90% of the writing, unless it's like, you know, like an extended crazy prog interlude where Jake needs to go hide in a corner with a couple bottles of wine, you know. That happens too. But but back to your guys, like, so you're doing like, are you doing master tracking, or are you just doing demos when you do your vocals at your place, at your home?
Well, I start out with demos, and then typically what we'll do is Freddie will have. So I'll do demo stuff first, along with Freddie's demo stuff, and then he will start getting to the point where he's master tracking, and like once we've nailed the songs down, like this is it, what it is, then he'll go back through and master track along with drums, because then he'll program all the first. So I'll have a full song, except for, you know, little things, leads, things like that. And then if there's something, you know, specifically like if something comes up along the way, like my vocals can trigger a lead, or if I have something and I go, hey man, I'm doing this vocal part, you know, over top of this, but I think this needs something. I need you to match these notes with the guitar or whatever, you know. So we'll just kind of layer it as we go. But it's pretty much, you know, once he's got his master guitars done, then I will start going over top of those with what I'm doing as far as the final deal.
What's your signal chain? Like what's your favorite mic? Like on the majority of the vocals? Like
just the Shure studio mic that I've got. So
is that SM7B?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like some singers just shine on that thing. I'm not one of them.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, man, because I've tried different ones, and like, I mean, I got spoiled. Like working at Moore Sound, I got really
Mhm.
spoiled. Like Jim had like a Telefunken, and like
Mhm.
like $70,000 mic or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, and yeah, it's awesome, and we didn't use it for everything, but like for those like real intimate, moments, and when doing like an acoustic part or whatever, the real intimate stuff, it's so warm and nice. But as far as what we're doing, I just I do the best that I can with what I've got and what I can afford. You know what I mean? I can't afford a tube run Telefunken or whatever it is. I just try to get the best sound that I can from the rig that I've got, and play around with different things, and do different things with.
One more geek question. What's your preamp?
Well, I'm running everything through a shit. Now I'm gonna lose it. Da, 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 da. I wish I could remember, but I can't. Old age has got.
Well,
But it's the same. It's the same one that Freddie's got, and he does all of his all of his guitar. Well, of course he's going MIDI through all his stuff.
mhm.
On it, what the hell is it? But it's a preamp, and it's got Pro Tools right in it, and I cannot remember what the hell
It's got Pro Tools in it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on it.
so you got like an Apollo or something?
Oh, man, Freddie could answer if he was watching this.
This is it's a good idea for your like sing through videos when you release the record. You can do a little like tour of.
Yeah, well, I think people would be shocked. They'd go, "The hell? What is that? Has he got like rat wire up in front of that
Yeah,
mic? What's going on?" Yeah,
it's like when they ask like, when they ask Eddie like, what are you playing through? What's your like overdrive pedal? And they're like, no, it's in the fingers. Like, the voice is the number one fucking part of that whole thing. I mean, you're still
and to me it's playing around a little bit with like mic position and things like that, where I'm, obviously there's really and that was stuff that I stole from Jim Morris. He's like, just get like almost swallow the microphone, get in there, because I need those little cracks and little pops in your voice. I need that, and so it's cool because I learned a lot from that guy, man. He's just he is the amazing. He's a magician. So, and I haven't worked with so many engineers or producers. So I can only go with what I know and what other people have said, say about Jim. But I think that he's amazing. He's a magician.
Jim's amazing.
Yeah, Jim's great. We worked with Jim. I've worked with him a few times. I mean, he's
super knowledgeable, and like just knows how to get a sound. It's and
he's a musician too, so his ears are incredible.
Yes. Oh my god. Hey Matt, you're going a little. Hey Matt, you're going a little sharp there. Can you do that again? Okay. All right.
So do you have an engineer with you when you're doing that, or is it just yourself?
Me, myself, and I. So.
And you do all the editing yourself, or do you end up sending that off to?
Well, yes and no. I edit to the best of my ability, but again, my knowledge is extremely limited. So then, I sent it to Freddie. Then Freddie sits down, gives it to Byron. Byron goes through, makes sure that everything is hunky dory in the way it should be. But I do the best that I can, man. I think the thing that I have on my side is time, because the way that we're, it's not like the old days, and I don't know, back in the old days, like Dark Saga or Something Wicked This Way Comes, it was like you're in the studio for a week and you're done. That's it. You have no more time. This is all the time you have. So I really had to go in there prepared. So like a lot of the stuff, like once I get my demo tracking done, I kind of know where the songs are going to go, and I know, and I usually use those the demo tracking as my my template, and I'll just kind of go in and make it better, make those things better. But I do have time on my side because I can work at my pace. I can work at my own leisure, and I usually go out, and I'm pretty stern about going out and working for, if I'm going to go out to the studio, I'm going to work for several hours and try to, knock out as much stuff as I possibly can. And, but I have to be efficient to a degree, because obviously, especially when Freddie's got stuff done, or, we're looking to get things tidied up. I do my best to get that done in a timely fashion, but at the same time, I can work at any time I want. That's the benefit of having a home studio and sort of being able to just knock out the tracks as I'm going.
We got some fan questions here, Matt. Eddie Head from Texas. He asks if the new album has a theme through some of the tracks, or are they all just standalone songs?
They're all standalone songs, but like with anything that we do, sometimes, especially if I'm primarily writing the lyrics, sometimes there are themes that kind of go through and can bounce off of other songs, because I'll get inspired by, I'll do this song and I'll be well, I need to elaborate on that a little bit more, but nothing is conceptual. So everything's just sort of a standalone idea. We did pretty much our standard salute to comic book character on this one, as well as the standard vampire song. So I've got a vampire song and another comic book. So yeah, total nerd, but I revel in it. So that's where I feel comfortable. Actually, this time the suggestion for the comic book character came from Freddie, because he's a huge Nicolas Cage fan, and so he's like, we got to do Ghost Rider. I'm like, well, I'm down with that. I mean, I like Nick Cage too, but I like the character Ghost Rider even better. So I'm totally down with that. So he already knew what we were working on, and he started working on the song, on the actual music, and I started working on the lyrics. And I obviously didn't have a melody kind of until he the song. It was fairly complete, but not entirely. I think we ended up doubling some verses and things like that, and that's usually how he'll give it to me. He'll go, look, I think this is the intro, this is going to be the the verse, or this is going to be the chorus or whatever, and we'll sort of build songs like that together, because he doesn't exactly know where I'm going to go with lyrics and all that. But so we just have a basic concept, and then we'll sort of construct it that way together.
Is that like, you do a lot of comic book stuff? Like Dark Saga was based on the Spawn comic book.
Yeah.
Did you write a lot of that, the lyrics, or
what's that?
Did you write like some of those songs, lyrics? Like what was your hand in it?
Like in Dark Saga, yeah, I wrote Last Laugh and Vengeance Is Mine.
Oh.
Yeah. And those were my lyrics. But John was on a roll with that one, man. So it was like, it's like as soon as we got done with a small tour that we did for Burn Offerings, it was like super short, like almost, it seems in my mind anyway, and I could be old age, but it seems like we hit the ground running. As soon as we got back, he started going full force into writing Dark Saga, and it was fairly quick too afterward. So which would make sense, because I think that was a 96 release, and I think Burn Offerings came out in 95. So it was really quick. I think
yeah.
That's right. Burn Offerings was either 94 or 95, and Dark Saga was 96, because I remember for sure it came out in 96, because we were actually in Europe to support that. I think actually we were over in Europe like right after it came out, and and that's when Brent and Jimmy joined us for that. Yeah.
I remember that record really well, because that was the year I dropped out of high school.
Oh, yeah.
I used to go used to go to this music store, and these college kids, like we were like the weird like metal kids running through the mall singing Iron Maiden and shit. And these college kids used to hand us like demo cassettes with different stuff that they would just like put on there for us. And I told John this story. I got a copy of Dark Saga, and then on the other side was that first Nevermore record. So it was like, wow, that's fucking weird.
Yep.
But yeah, I love Dark Saga. I think that's my favorite Iced Earth record.
You know, we were tour mates with Nevermore for a couple tours, man. I mean, it seemed like, I mean, it's not bad. I think we matched up really well as far as that's concerned. I think the fans really dug it. They really loved the fact that we were doing stuff together. And I think that, you know, I think at the end of the day, I think both bands pushed each other to, you know, to get, you know, do more and kind of put on more of a show. So it was always sort of like a little friendly competition. You know what I mean? To
You guys got along?
Yeah, we did. We got along very well. As you know, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, Van started out with Ashes, and we started doing that together. And then, you know, obviously, you know, things didn't work out as far as the long term, but Van did 3 records with us, and playing drums. He wasn't part of the writing process for the last or the other 2, but yeah, I mean, Van's a great friend, man. He's a great guy, and I'm super excited to hear what he and Jeff are putting together, man. I'm really, really excited about that.
I think everyone is.
Yep.
So we got another fan question from Jeff.
Jeff,
can you tell us about the joint Pure Maze and Prague Power gig? Okay. Lance, and I think he means Tarja.
Yeah.
And how that came to be.
Somebody just asked us, and they, you know, I think Jonah actually reached out to me, because I had known Jonah before, because Jonah reached out to me in whatever it was, 2007, I think, to do the Pure Maze Immortal record. And so whenever the Prague Power thing came up, I think he reached out to me and said, "Hey, this is what we're thinking. We want to have the 3 singers, because, well, like Lance is at Prague Power every year. At least he was, like, every year that I had been there, because he has a business. He sells music and all that other good stuff. So he's usually always there. And so then I think it was just a matter of getting Tarj over. Well, the whole band, you know, they were at that point, you know, he was with them, I think, for 1 or 2 records. So we just, you know, we met up there. Everybody came over. Super cool. Everybody in that band is super cool. To include the mighty Jacob Hansen, who's a, you know, producer extraordinaire, super guy. He has the best hair in the business. I'm telling you, man. His hair always amazing.
Did you work with him, Jay?
I did a Cobra and the Lotus record right before I joined Iced Earth. Actually, we did a double album in Reeb out in Denmark. Did you work with him out there, Matt?
Who's that? Jacob?
Yeah.
No, actually, the only time that I've worked, well, yeah. So when I did the Pure Maze record, actually Jim produced my vocals, and then we sent it over to them, and then Jacob did the mix down. So I worked with him on that, and then I also he did the mixing mastering for mine and Jonah's project. So that was super cool. I mean, he definitely did some cool shit with that record. I mean, he made it sound really, really nice. The guy's he's another magician as well. I mean, I never sat in the studio and worked directly with Jacob, but, you know, he just obviously an amazing producer, man. I mean, all the Volbeat stuff that he does, just, you know, sonically, that shit just sounds freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's a big King Diamond fan too.
And,
Merciful Fate fan.
Of course.
So we were bonding over that. Yeah, his studio's.
Diamond fan. It's like in the,
Yeah, his studio was way outside of Copenhagen, actually. So it was. I mean, you're far out where he's at. It's in a really cool kind of like farmhouse too.
well, he's got a new studio. I think
Oh.
he sold the old one, and I think he's got a new studio now. Yeah, he was.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he was building it. I think last year before.
Yeah.
Sure, it's up and rolling now.
Very cool, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't believe it was 10 years ago when I at least.
No sanctuary questions, please, Kevin. But
No, you must.
it's funny Matt was saying you were saying that every 3 years to have a record's a pretty good clip, and I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, like that's better than every decade. I think Sanctuary's got 4 records in 40 years, so I think that's a pretty good clip, comparatively speaking.
Well, that's
shout out to Lenny.
That's the other funny part about it, man. I've actually, looking back at my discography, I've done more records since I've been in law enforcement than I did before I was. So, it's kind of weird, right? But I've been pretty busy, not only, in another career and a whole other career, but at least I've been, been busy. And I'm blessed. I gotta say, I'm extremely grateful, for everybody that helped me get to where I am, as far as, obviously John, discovering me or finding me or whatever, the feelers were out there, and I went and auditioned. So just even being able to be a part of Iced Earth was huge for me, and kind of, people actually discovered, who I am and what I can do. And that's, the rest is. So
how did you join Iced Earth? Because I don't even know that story. I had that first, I don't know if it's an EP or whatever, had that like color song on it. It had that weird blue drawing. Like I had the cassette of that. Like how did you end up joining Iced Earth?
Yes, so that one was with Gene. So Gene was their first singer, and I can't remember. Came out in, what year was that? 90 or 89 maybe.
Yeah.
89, and then I think 91 was Night of the Storm Rider. And yeah, so it's a funny story. So after John Greeley and I can't remember the drummer's name, but they left the band after Storm Rider, after the Storm Rider tour sometime, and those guys picked up Rodney Beasley on drums. And Rodney is the reason that I even knew about the gig, because Rodney played in a band. When you live in Florida, every band works out of a storage facility,
dude.
So in down where we were in Bradenton, Florida. So the storage facility there, and a whole bunch of bands, man. And we were, like everything.
Seasons of the Wolf, right? Did you know those guys?
Yeah. They had their own, like, I don't know, compound, dude. It was cult like a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, Scully. Oh my God. That guy gave me my first like promo like advice. He used to send me the radio DJs like mailing addresses for college. Yeah, he like, damn, that's funny. Like, so that's a thing. Like,
I was in. So their little thing was like they owned, or I think the band owned. I think they had their van with like the whole thing painted up, and they had their own place where they actually played and did gigs. Like we went there. It was like a party, but it was like a full stage, like full light, sound, the whole production, man. It was like in their own little. It was cool. It was cool as shit. I was pretty impressed, but it was a little bit like I was wondering if I was getting ready to join a cult. I don't know, but cool guys, and like, seriously, very cool guys, very cool atmosphere and the whole thing. But like every other band had to, the only place that you could play was in these storage facilities, and like nobody gave a shit because, you were pretty far away. It's usually in industrial areas, you know what I mean? So people aren't living next door or anything like that. You're pretty far away. So you're just jamming. And of course, these things are like tin cans. I mean, the acoustics in them is absurd. But still fun. We'd have the doors open, and death metal guys would be down here playing this, and then melodic metal guys are over here doing this, and we're over here trying to do our thrash thing, and so that's basically what it was. So I knew Rodney. He played in a more melodic metal band, and I wish I could remember what his name was. The singer in the band. He had a beautiful voice, and he died tragically, I think, in a car accident. And then I didn't really hear about the guys, anymore, about the band after their singer died. And but then I was playing a gig. It was in a band with my brother, and we were playing a gig at this bar, and Rodney came up, and his girlfriend was there and all that. And he goes, "Hey man, do you remember me?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, what's up? And, how's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a while." And, so on and so forth. We were just chit chatting. He says, "Well, hey man, the reason I'm here is, I'm in this band Iced Earth now, and they're auditioning singers. And I thought of you, and, I told John and said, you sort of have like this King Diamond thing going on in your highs, and, and so he wants you to come up and try out." So I did. And, much to my brother's chagrin, he wasn't very happy with me quitting the band. And after I got the gig, but we did make up for a time after that. And, it was just, hey man, it happened. What, the reason that I even went to Florida was to do music. Right. I thought it was going to be with my brother in a band together, but this opened up a huge door for me, and I couldn't, certainly couldn't miss out on the opportunity. And so that's basically how it happened. So just a guy that I knew from another band, and Rodney's, as far as I know, he's not, drumming anymore, but, I see him on Facebook a lot, and he's happy, and he's got, a couple kids that are, I think in college now, and just how things work out sometimes, man.
It's like a Bon Jovi song.
Yeah, like a reverse Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Or a Bon Jovi song that went to the extreme. And we're going 20 years down the line,
Yeah.
Nobody dies, everybody's alive, and your kids are.
Jesus, Montana wants to know if there's a Barlow Witherfall collab in the future.
Sure.
Nothing on the books yet.
Yeah, I would love to have you sing on something.
I did want to ask you, Matt, about I know with your current police officer gig, with how long do you have to book out the tours before you get offers 6-8 months in advance sometimes?
The farther out the better, really.
Yeah.
And then I can put in for it and all that other good stuff, because I'm not working the road anymore, so I have some more administrative assignments, so
I see.
So it's a little more difficult sometimes.
I see.
Yeah, what made you want to do the Dark Saga in its entirety? Asks Eddie Head.
Well, because some people were asking about that, some promoters were asking about that, and then our agent in Greece said, this doesn't sound like a bad idea. This could be a good thing, especially they were like, hey, they're offering to pay to get you guys over here to do this, and and all that. And I'm like, I was back when Freddie and I first started Ashes, and I was like, I'm not so keen on bringing in and doing other Iced Earth stuff. Well, especially because Iced Earth was active at that time and everything else. But I was like, I'm not 100% sure with doing that. I understand people probably would like me to, sing those songs and whatnot, because it, as with anything, it brings back your memories and, all those things, and it's very nostalgic, right? So I was always sort of hesitant. But on this last tour that we did 2 years ago in Greece, we threw in a couple Iced Earth songs, and the response was overwhelming. It was really, really cool. And it, especially in Greece, we have, there's very, very big connection there with the fans in Greece. And so it went over really well. And so when we started talking about this, and I'm still sort of a little bit on the fence about it, and I didn't know how things would work out. But Freddie contacted John, and John said, "Yeah, I mean, you can do what you want to do. I'll give you blessing. Just don't use obviously the logo and the artwork or anything like that." And I, we totally understand that. We would have never done that anyway. So no, it's just presenting the music in the best way that we can. To my knowledge, nobody's ever done the Dark Saga in its entirety, including Iced Earth. So hopefully it goes over well, man. I mean, we're putting a lot of work into it now, and hopefully that will pay off when it's presented. So pretty.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, man, because especially in Greece, Greece was such a cool, especially for Iced Earth, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
I see that you guys are doing a show with Blind Guardian too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's super cool, man, and that was sort of unexpected. But our agent, he was really proud to announce that, or to let us know about that. And he's like, "Hey, man, you're gonna be playing this like festival thing with Blind Guardian." I'm like, "Hell yeah, man, absolutely."
Oh, it's a festival. So
yeah,
it's
okay. a festival ish, a festival adjacent, I think. So I'm not sure exactly the whole size of it and all that, but yeah, we're playing. I guess we're direct support and all that. So I'm pretty stoked, man. That's gonna
be massive, man. I think
those guys too, man. It's really a blast. The last time I saw them was, I think, a year ago. They were here in Norfolk, and so Heather and I went down to see them, and that was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I think last time I saw you in person was with 3 of those guys when we did the Demons and Wizards.
Yeah.
Up on stage doing I Died For You off that.
Yeah.
That was one of the highlights of my life. So that was really cool, man.
That was pretty cool, man. And of course, what a great crowd, man. That venue's phenomenal.
Well, when you came out there, the crowd went just absolutely fucking nuts.
Is that in Maryland?
No, this was we did do one together with Iced Earth, but this one was in New York.
You're talking about Demons.
NYC.
Yeah. That was super, super cool. Yeah. Both of those were awesome. I think Maryland was the first time. I think that was the first time I met you. And you were there too, Joseph. Joseph was in Sanctuary. So
yeah, I was in the back by the merch. I didn't know it was going to happen.
I didn't know what was going on. I was back there. I was going to cultivate my mustache, and
I don't even. I was probably pretty buzzed by the time you got on stage. Actually,
I watched your show, man, and that was phenomenal too. I absolutely loved that, and it fucking took me back, man. Like, that's the crazy shit, man. And that was kind of one of the wild things about, like, touring with Worrell. Worrell was like one of my heroes, man. And it's not like there's not that much time in between, but when you're young, like, because I remember the first time seeing like a video of Worrell was like, what was it, into the Mirror Black? What was that?
Future Tense.
Yeah, Future Tense, right.
Mm-hmm.
The Future Tense, that video, and going, dude, that dude's fucking badass. He's got long hair, and I'm trying to grow my hair long, and all that. and so it's kind of surreal, and especially touring with those guys and knowing them personally, it was really freaking cool. And then seeing you guys play like Sanctuary, and doing all those songs, man, I was like, God, man, it takes me back, man. That's the beauty of music, man, and that it really is. It can always take you back to somewhere at a certain time in your life. Operation Mindcrime takes me back to summer of 1988. Like, because I listened to that record so much, it's like everything about that record is summer of '88 for me.
would you practice those songs? Like, would you try to sing all of Jeff Tate's stuff and sing?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'd try. I would fail miserably, but yeah, I would try. I mean, I was, of course, at that point, I was not doing. I mean, I was trying to do stuff. I was, trying to match things, but I didn't exactly know my instrument as well back then. It took me a little while to figure out how to maximize what I can do with my voice and like where the sweet spots are in my voice and how to, utilize them. All the while, I was doing the best I could. But I didn't really start taking lessons, like vocal lessons, until, I don't know, man, until I was 20, maybe, I think maybe I was 20. Like I started doing some stuff with my sister-in-law, the one who sings all the high operatic stuff in Dark Saga. So she was classically trained opera singer, so it wasn't exactly the same. And then after Burnt Offerings, I started working out in Tampa with this guy named Al Cohen, and that dude, he was, fairly simple, straightforward, but the way that he described like how to utilize your voice, and he was essentially, at the end of the day, he also, kind of sat down, like, because I was like, look, this is what I'm trying to do with my voice, and I'm trying to do these things because, I'm trying to match whatever these other singers did and Iced Earth and all that. And he's like, well, you're not going to match what those guys are doing because you don't have the same voice. Mm-hmm. He's like, you need to start looking at your voice as something completely different. Do what you can do and all that other stuff. And he kind of gave me an idea to, like, visually to be able to see like my voice, using my voice almost like it's a transmission, gearing up, gearing down, doing certain things in certain areas, trying not to stay in this one spot for too long, just, utilize your whole voice. Don't just, so it was cool. He the way he described it to me, I actually understood and could pick up it, because I'm not like a classically trained musician. I don't read music. I don't, everything that I do is by ear. I'm not like that. So it was really enlightening for me that somebody could put it in such a way that I would understand it, and just kind of verbally kind of run me through stuff. And of course we would, I'd go there and practice, and he'd run me through the scales and kind of run different things to hit different parts of my voice and try to expand my top and my bottom, at the same time, because that's what they say anyway. If you're the lower you can go, the higher you can go. Typically, it kind of stretches things out. Anyway, but yeah. So it was that was kind of cool. And basically I had that sit down too. I mean, he sat down with John, because John was like, hey, what's going on with the vocal lessons and all that. And I was like, well, this guy's got some information. He's, and basically the guys told Johnny, don't try to make him be something that he's not, kind of utilize the best parts of his voice. And I think that that's kind of where it started, like with Dark Saga. I started really laying more into the deeper stuff, and, do highs here and there and occasionally, but, stick with the part of my voice, because I'm like a bass baritone. You can hear it in my voice. That's my speaking voice, that's my singing voice too, right? So I just don't have a super high voice, and I was not blessed with a tenor voice, but so I do the best I can with what I got, and try to accentuate the best parts of my voice. That's all I do.
Yeah, those two records, but you're still hitting some like pretty high mid-range stuff, and the thing is, you had resonance, so there was power behind it.
Yeah, and doing that little fry stuff, I mean, and that's what I did learn to control a little bit, and to do it in a way that wasn't harmful, where it didn't feel harmful anyway. Maybe I've done some damage somewhere, but I started that, but to do that fry stuff with my chords, and
mm-hmm.
I've talked to other I think there was this guy that did an interview with one time, and I can't, what's his name, anyway, he was asking me, because he did he like analyzed my voice. He's like one of those guys that does the videos where they listen to stuff and then and I think it was a live thing. And he's like, I'm not sure what he's doing here. And so I reached out to him and said, hey man, if you want to talk about stuff, we'll talk. So I did. And he was asking me about that stuff. And he's like, well, you're probably damaging your voice a little bit. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, talking can damage your voice too. So it really is just a matter of, to me, it's a matter of if I can do it without hurting or feeling as though, everybody gets a point where you get tired and you just, shit just goes like, but
any pop music, rock, metal, where like you're on a tour bus in less than ideal conditions, like you can't judge live shows. It's not the same thing as someone in an opera hall, or you know what I mean, like or a Vegas residency where you crawl back up to your penthouse suite like every night, like it's not the same thing.
Or you're out there doing one or two songs in a big show. You're one of many singers doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a different deal. You're a soloist. You're out there, and it's not, like you said, it's not in the best conditions all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some sound sucks. Sometimes the as in Alive in Athens, when the crowd is louder than you are, crowd is louder than the entire PA system. It's you're going on muscle memory and hoping that you're hitting the right spots. And like that one was pre in-ear, for me, I didn't have in-ear at that time, and I was like, holy shit, this changes everything. Time to get some in-ears now, because you gotta, you can't do everything on muscle memory. But yeah, and you change. At least I know I do. I change the dynamic, the way that I sing, the way that I deliver songs live than what I did in the studio. I mean, the studio, you can do a million takes, right? So you get what you want. Live, you got like one shot, man, to get that out there and to do it, and you have to pace yourself too. I don't know if John ever told you, man, about the shows that we did in support of horror show, but we did like we did 3 different sets. We had no opening acts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We did 3 different sets. Each set was about an hour long. And
3 shows a day?
No. We had we did. It was one show, but it was 3 sets. Each set was about an hour long. We had an interlude in between to change the stage, but we did an all night show. It was like it was a lot, man.
It's like Zeppelin territory.
You're doing and we had breaks. Like I said, we had the breaks so they could change the set, because I think the first set was like the what was it called, the classic set or something, and then the middle, and it was basically the songs from the first part of the catalog, or the records from the first part of the Ice Earth catalog, and then the middle set was like concentrated on Something Wicked, Dark Saga, Something Wicked, and what else? I don't know. Anyway, and then the last one, very last set was all horror show stuff. So, but it was a lot, man. It was a workout. So I got to figure out how to pace myself through through this entire show and all these different sets to the end of this show, and still maintain myself. And this was a big tour. It was a month-long tour at least, and so it was a lot. And I was much younger then, so it was 2001 or 2000, maybe 2001 or 2002. I can't remember. Whenever Horror Show came out, I guess 2002 probably. But it was just a lot. So you have to figure out how to pace yourself and how to preserve your voice for all of those different changes and things like that. And it was like a lot, and then of course the very last set is like we're playing shit like Wolf, Dracula.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like these things are like so it was a lot.
Didn't Stu hate singing that song, Jake?
Yeah, Wolf was like, it's
Dude,
there's so many, like, there's no breath. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, there's no breath.
That's a wild song, man. Even the guitar playing behind it, and then there's just no breath. And I remember Stu just being like, it's so frustrated, you know?
You go from verse to chorus, or verse to semi-chorus to verse to chorus to it was like nonstop, man.
Yeah.
No break in between. Yeah.
And I'm not knocking Stu. Stu saying it great. I just remember him just telling me, you know, he's like, man, this is such a difficult song to try to do.
Well, that, and then you know, like later on when I came back after Tim was there, and I'm fucking doing, you know, 10,000 strong, man. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, John, what are you doing, man?
Right.
You write songs.
I think John. I remember John telling me one time on tour that about those horror show ones, and you guys did have an early version of in-ears, right? But they were, and something about like you guys were doing one of the first ones to kind of do like the crowd type of channel, so you could actually hear some of the audience.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I think that I did, but I think that mine was limited because it's just weird for me. Well, it's kind of like the thing that John was always hated, that because he wanted to feel the percussion from the guitar,
from the cab. Yeah.
So, and I was sort of the same way, because I needed to sort of hear like the live state. I really need to hear John, because I was cued off of his stuff. And of course, you can always hear the drums. The drums are always like right there, you know.
You guys had Richard Christie then. I'd love to hear that story about you guys dropping off him at the Stern show for Win John's Job or something like that. I'm a Stern show freak, so I always find it so funny, you know, that
it's great. Well, and that's the thing. I didn't so Richard actually joined the Stern show after I was gone. So I think it was like in the first tour with Tim, I think, is when he got the gig with the Stern show. So I was with, you know, Rich, like as far as I could go after, and then I think they went on the road for the Glorious Burden, and then somewhere in there, I think Rich resigned from the band, and then I think who did he get? Was it Bobby?
He got Bobby. He was telling me for some shows in Japan, I think. Is what I remember. Yeah, but that was only short lived, I believe, or maybe he did. I don't know, man. I'm pretty bad. There was a lot of guys in Iced Earth.
Yeah. Really? I had no.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
My God. Oh yeah, Michael. That's right. I forgot I saw you, Matt, in Albany hanging out with Zeus.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a great show. Todd's such a great singer.
He is, man. What a great set, man. That's another one. You know, that's like takes you back, right? Just crazy.
Let's see. Michael. I think I remember this guy. I wasn't drinking that night. That's why I remember him.
Did you guys happen to watch that last Sabbath show last night? I thought it was pretty cool.
I just saw bits of it.
Yeah, I've only seen clips, man.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool that, you know, Ozzy was still up there doing it, and to see the whole Sabbath, the original Black Sabbath, everyone's still alive. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I bet those guys were also just like, can't believe we're all still here.
It's hard to read the comments though. People are so fucking disrespectful. They're like, it's a make-a-wish for Ozzy. I'm like, dude,
no.
What the fuck have you done in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, social media is very telling. Too telling sometimes. So
shit,
it's not good.
What was that Mike Tyson quote? It's like, people need to be reminded what it's like to be hit in the face, like for something they said.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, well, there's not so much of that. That's the ease of making comments and nasty statements on social media, right? So there's no repercussions.
So Do you have anything? So after you got the Dark Saga tour coming up, do you guys have anything? Any other dates? Anything else coming up after that that you can announce?
Nothing that we can announce at this point, and there should be some more shows added on to these that we're doing that are already out there. But hopefully we'll have all those holes filled, and then we can do a total announcement. I know we sold out in Athens, and they were selling for another night.
Wow,
so
that's awesome, man.
Hopefully that will work out, and we can sell out another show there. That would be cool. But yeah, I mean, great crowd.
Are you going to do that in the States? Because I don't think I can fly over there.
Well, you don't have the miles, man. Come on.
Shit. Miles are used.
It's a cool, very cool country there, man. And actually, it's funny because so we had toured there like 2 years ago, and then the following year I took my family over on vacation. So then that was pretty awesome, to be able to fly. We flew into Athens, grabbed a rental car, and just started driving. And so we went to like Meteora, which is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Greece at all, but Meteora, like pretty amazing. It's remember the Bond movie For Your Eyes Only, like where they have the monasteries on top of the big rock mountains. That's Meteora. Anyway, it's just crazy, and there's just so much history there, and it's just such a beautiful country, and you have no idea really until you start like driving around to see all the different landscapes and all that stuff, and just absolutely phenomenal. It's more than just Athens and the coast, or the islands,
Right.
Inland area is beautiful. The mountains are phenomenal, and it's just something that if you and really, if you get off the coast and you go inland and into the mountains, it's a lot more economical to travel, and like how hotels are cheaper, food's cheaper, just like it's quite reasonable actually.
Yeah.
Blind Earth says he was at one of your 3-hour shows.
Oh yeah, nice.
Is this Blind Guardian Iced Earth like username?
Yeah.
Like, is that what that is?
I think so.
Yeah, I would think so.
What's Lukenbach?
Oh, what that? That's Texas. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, we actually went to Texas last November to see. I met up with my wife, and I met up with Freddie and his wife in San Antonio, and they showed us around San Antonio because they used to live there, and so they showed us around there, and then we went to see Maiden, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Eddie Head wants to know who has the bigger toy collection, you or Freddie.
Well, depends on what kind of toys he's talking about.
That's what I'm wondering too.
Vibrating? What's he saying? No, I've got, I don't have probably, well, no, I'm not going to say that. I have a bunch of toys that have been in storage for over 20 years. So I've got a lot of stuff. I probably need to inventory it and maybe even eBay it. I don't know.
Start an Amazon account.
Is that like a thing between you guys? Like you guys both collect?
I think he probably does collect some stuff. I know he does have like the and I have a set of them called like the McFarlane Kiss.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Collectibles, or the Kiss characters or whatever. And my thing now is, because I'm so old and cheap, I essentially I collect Batmobiles, and a lot of them are just
cool.
Just the Hot Wheels. So I've got like I've got a wall completely lined with Hot Wheels Batmobiles. And that's pretty much my thing. I'm a Batman geek, so I do have a few Batman things, statues and things like that, and it's pretty nerdy. for a 55-year-old man, I should probably grow up, right?
No, stuff's awesome, man.
I mean, hell, Zeus's whole fucking studio is filled with Star Wars stuff. So
Nice.
Frozo says to take us with you and go to Cyprus.
Yes, you should.
Cyprus is great too. That's
Definitely
really cool.
Yes, we were there that last tour as well, and fucking phenomenal crowd, man. Amazing crowd, amazing food. People took us food like family style, and it was just like, yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's all about.
Oh, there you go, Fort Worth. Eddie met you in Fort Worth in 2008, dude. That's a long time ago.
It is. Yep.
One of the highlights of Eddie's life, his young life. Looking very forward to the new Ashes album.
Very cool. Yeah, I recognize Eddie. I see some comments. I know he comments like that a lot. So thank you.
You
Eddie.
read the comments, Matt?
I do. I mean, for the most part, like the comments that are on like our site are usually very reasonable. I mean, some people give good critique, and I'm cool with that, and I always say that I don't mind people critiquing. They go, oh, I don't like this, I think you need to do this, you need to do more of this, and that's fine, man. I mean, everybody's got their thing. It's the nasty grams always come from, like, I mean, I hate to say it, blabbermouth, but that usually the ones, and I'm nothing against blabbermouth specifically, but that seems when you put provocative stuff up there, headlines and whatnot, sometimes you get the the folks commenting without even reading whatever the article was or listening to it. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I think it's a really weird thing. Like everyone seems to kind of have to have an opinion on those sites. Like they have to feel like they have to chime in with something, and everyone just doesn't just keep it to themselves and carry on with their day,
And I'm cool with.
Strange to me.
I'm cool with stuff that's respectful, man. I don't even mind if somebody says whatever. I really don't hey Matt, I really don't like your voice. Okay. That's a lot different than, hey, you sound like shit. You know what I mean? It's all about the tone, right?
Yeah.
I don't like your tone. Anyway, no, I don't mind respectful criticism, man. I mean, I get it. Not everybody's going to dig what I do, and that's fine. Not everybody's going to dig what I say, I guess, but I try not to. I really try not to be disrespectful to people in general, and maybe that's part of me being in law enforcement for 22 years. It's kind of the way I'm wired, and I think probably before that too. I think I've kind of always been that way. Mm-hmm. But I think that it should be kind of equally. If I offend somebody, then they can say, hey, that comment offended me, and this is why. Okay, cool. I'll take that into consideration, but it's just that off the, boom, right from the hip. It's just like, I'm automatically offended, and I'm going to fire something back at you. That's
right. Yeah. It's also like act like that now. People are hiding behind stuff. It's like no one would actually say that to someone's face, if they were or conversing like this, although we're not even really in person.
Only people looking for a fight would say it to someone's face.
Yeah.
Jake, was this show, this Omaha show, was that when you guys had the bottle of Johnny Walker on stage?
Omaha, yeah.
I remember this.
Yeah, me too. I remember that night well. I might be the only one who remembers that night, but I wasn't drinking any Johnny Walker on stage.
I don't know. I think you were.
I think John might have had me do a shot because he probably told me I'd be
Stu
fired.
Probably made you do a shot.
One of them did. All right, guys. That's it for me, man. Thanks again, Matt, for
man.
Yeah, let's hold on, Jake. Let me see if we got any more questions. We'll leave it open for one more minute, and then we'll call it. We've had quite a few, actually. You guys have a release date for the new record yet? Like, do you have like a lead single that you're gonna release, or like maybe around the time of the shows?
Yeah, well, the record's released this month on the 18th. We've got two singles out. We got 2 videos running. First song is Wake of Vultures. and the second song is From Hell He Rides, and we're getting ready to release another one, and there'll be 4 essentially released before the release date. So the third one's coming out here shortly, and then the fourth one will come out, I guess, to correspond, I guess, with the release. So
I read too. You guys are doing a Elton John cover too.
yeah, yep.
That's cool. How'd you guys come about like choosing that as your as the cover?
So yeah, so Freddie really wanted to do a tribute to Sir Elton, and I was obviously 100% behind that. We were trying to figure out which song though, man, because dude, when you got like a whole, everything that he writes is essentially a hit. You've got a lot to choose from, and you're trying to figure out, what exactly to do, and can you do it in a way that's going to be present the original stuff well, and also be, Ashes of Aries, right? So we were really kind of struggling with which one, and then my wife is a big fan, and she actually had the song on her playlist, and she's like, she listened to it a lot because she really likes the message of the song. It's and the house fell down, and it's essentially about dealing with addiction and things like that, and overcoming that, and that's kind of the theme of the song. And I was like, I'm cool with the theme. I'm cool with with the sound, because it's got kind of like a ragtime kind of a vibe, and I was thinking, yeah, we could get kind of cool and nasty with this. So floated it to Freddie, and he's like, I'm in. I'll start working on it. And he, the stuff that he did with it, I think is brilliant. I think he did a really nice job of translating like something that's primarily an Elton John song, which is going to be a lot of keys and things like that. We got no keys in it. It's all guitar, and just the overall vibe of it's just really cool and kind of dark and brooding a little bit, but it's got that cool little like catchy ass chorus in it, which was a lot of fun to work with. And I played around with that and did some different things to make it not as make the chorus, because the chorus itself is it's like it's like Elton John stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I had to make it like still have a power, but not as like poppy, kind of a thing. So I think what we came up with was cool. I'll leave that for other people to judge, but I really dig it. I thought it was it's still a nice tribute to Sir Elton, and we had a good time doing it. So hopefully, if he has a chance to listen to it, hopefully he digs it. Hopefully we did it justice.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, check out the website Ashes of Aries here, and if you can make the trip to Greece, it'll be well worth it. There's really food.
Yes.
All the other dates too. You guys are doing stuff more outside of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, we're also playing. We're doing a festival in Germany. That's going to be the at least the one show that I know of in Germany at this point. We're also playing Krakow, Poland, so that'll be cool. It's been a long time since I've been in Poland, so it'll be nice to see friends there, and hopefully some other shows.
Oh,
will be added on.
I am gonna see you. I can't say why, but when we log out of here, yeah, I can't say it on right now.
Can't spill the beans, man. Come on.
No. I almost did though. Holy shit.
Like that. Come on.
That's hilarious. I thought that sounded familiar. As soon as you said Germany, I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. All right. All the sleuths out there can ponder that one.
Well, so here's the thing, man. You do that. Are you just doing the one show?
Oh wait, you know what? We did fucking announce it. What am I talking about? You see what happens when you're too busy and you don't even know what you. Yeah, we're at Keep It True too.
Okay, right on. Keep It True Rising. Yeah, and so.
Oh no! Shit! Damn it! Nope. We're at Keep It True next year.
Okay.
Son of a bitch! I guess I'm not gonna see you there.
Well, that's all right, man. At least you're gonna be there. So you'll.
Yeah. That's a nice.
Hang out with Oliver.
Nice. Oliver's hilarious, dude. He made me drink way too much of that Hell's Pilsner. It's terrible. I gain like 30 fucking pounds every time I drink that shit.
It's just all sugar, right? It's just
Yeah, well, it turns into sugar. Yeah.
yeah.
Jesus. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this up. Matt, thank you so much for coming on. Like, it's been a pleasure talking to you about music, the important stuff. You know, two ex-members of Iced Earth on one screen here.
Hey.
The young generation and the veterans.
Old. You can say the old.
Yeah.
That's fine. Very comfortable.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here, Matt. I'll hit you up in a little bit. Jake, don't drink too much wine today.
Yeah.
And
thanks again, Matt. That was awesome, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
And I'll post those links and some video stuff on the YouTube description so everyone can check it out. Awesome. All right, guys.
Sometimes the world no longer needs a hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster. Sometimes the world no longer needs a hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster.